What's going on, guys? Arrow here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the Breath of the Wild sequel, or Breath of the Wild 2, and the possibility of it releasing this year in 2020. Now after waiting for weeks and months about a Nintendo Direct, we finally got something that happened a couple days ago from Nintendo. It was the rumored day on March 26th, which was a Nintendo Direct Mini. Now while there were some pretty good announcements from this Nintendo Direct Mini, one of the most obvious things that people noticed right away was that this presentation did not have any type of big first party reveal for the Nintendo Switch in 2020. Now the November holiday slot is one of the most important times for any game company to release one of their most anticipated products, because that's the time when everybody is going holiday shopping. It's when the kids are asking for what they want for the holidays, and so that's why it's really important to make sure that there's a really big game that you try to release then. Now for the past couple of years, Nintendo's holiday slot has always been filled with a Pokemon game, whether that's Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or just last year with Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, this year in the beginning of January, we had a Pokemon Direct where Game Freak and the Pokemon Company announced that they're working on Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, which is going to be coming in 2 parts in the summer as well as in the winter for Pokemon Sword and Shield, basically telling us that there's probably not going to be any big new Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch this year, as they're going to be giving us the DLC instead, and trying to have a new game coming out with the DLC would kind of have the promotions crisscross with each other, and it just wouldn't be the right thing to do. And so that means that Nintendo's holiday slot is open now for some game that isn't Pokemon. But from this Nintendo Direct Mini that happened, there was no big reveal for any first party game that could in fact be something that would be worthy of a holiday title, which leads us to thinking what could actually be the holiday game for the Nintendo Switch in 2020. As the thing is, usually around this time, Nintendo has to kind of reveal their big holiday game, as they need to have a good couple of months to promote it and make sure that people know about it and are excited to get the game when it's coming out. I mean, Nintendo's holiday types of games are always revealed pretty early within the year, and then they like to give like a good 6 to 8 or so months to promote the games and make sure people are excited about them. With like Super Mario Odyssey, I know that game was revealed in like January of 2017, and then it came out in October of that year. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was revealed for the first time in March of 2018. It came out in December of that year. And then with Pokemon Sword and Shield last year, that game was revealed in February, and it ended up coming out in November. The thing now is that we're in April and there hasn't really been any big new first party game revealed that's worthy of being a holiday title. Now of course, just because Nintendo has done this in the past with games like Super Mario Odyssey and Smash Bros. Ultimate and Pokemon Sword and Shield does not mean that they have to stick to this pattern and do the same exact thing this year. They could very well have a Nintendo Direct in like June, for example, reveal an all new first party game, get us really excited, and then say that that game is coming out this year in the holiday season. It's very possible, but it's just kind of weird, because if they were going by this, and they have for the past 3 years, that would have meant that a big holiday game would have had to been revealed by now if it was going to be coming out this year. And so going off of the upcoming games that Nintendo has officially revealed, there's only one game that's worthy of being a holiday title and could possibly release this year in 2020, and that is Breath of the Wild 2. Now I know that there's a lot of discussion about whether or not Breath of the Wild 2 could come out in 2020. There's some people that are like it's very possible, I think that it could come out, and then some people that are like there's no way, not a chance that it's coming out in 2020. But in this video, I want to give you guys my thoughts on why I think that there is a chance that it could be the holiday game for 2020, but also some of the reasons why I've heard as to why it could be coming out later. Now if you guys want my opinion, I feel like that there is a chance that the game could be a 2020 release. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if the game did get confirmed to be coming out this year, but I also can see it coming out later as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's going to be coming out after 2020 also, but I'm just saying I could really see it being both ways. Now one of the reasons why Breath of the Wild 2 could in fact be a 2020 release is that they did officially say that the game is on the way and that they are developing it. See, with the Nintendo Switch era, one of the things that people have noticed is that Nintendo likes to reveal games that are only a couple of months away, and they don't like making us wait a really long time to finally get our hands on them. Games like Super Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Pokemon Sword and Shield, when they were all revealed, we only had to wait a couple of months until we were finally able to get them and play them. It's very different from like the Wii U, when they revealed like Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and the 3DS, like they revealed that and we essentially had to wait 2 entire years until we could actually finally play those games. But with the Switch, they really like to reveal games that are really close to coming out. And the fact that they did decide to reveal last year that Breath of the Wild 2 is on the way could in fact mean that maybe the game is really close to coming out. Another reason that I really like to think that the game could probably be coming out in 2020 is a lot of the foundation of the game has already been done. See, the thing is, because of how this is a sequel to the original Breath of the Wild, it's going to be taking place in the same world, the same Hyrule, but of course they're probably going to add new locations, alter some of the other locations and stuff. But the thing is, they already have like a foundation of the world, they already have a foundation of the characters and everything, so there's not really a lot of new stuff that they have to kind of create in order to make the world and everything. Like, they're not going to have to recreate all of the enemies and everything again. They're not going to have to recreate like new bokoblins and new rocks and trees and mountains and stuff like that, since all of that has already been done when they were originally developing the first Breath of the Wild. So now obviously the first Breath of the Wild took a really long time to develop because they had to make all of that from scratch. The thing this time is they already have a ton of assets and things to use, so I really wouldn't think that this sequel would take an insanely long time, like just as long as it took to make the original Breath of the Wild, since they already have so many of the resources. Now, one of the best points that I like to bring up about why I think that Breath of the Wild 2 could in fact be a 2020 release is that they actually talked about how the next Zelda game was in development from December of 2017. See, in December of 2017, the official Breath of the Wild Masterworks art book came out, and it talked a lot about the development of the game, and there was some concept art and a lot of cool stuff within it, but at the very end, it talked about how Eiji Aonuma and the team had already begun production of the next Zelda game. Now keep in mind, this was said in December of 2017, after all the DLC and the Champions Ballad stuff had wrapped up with the original Breath of the Wild, so that would mean starting in December of 2017, they had that 1 month to start working on the new game, then they had all of 2018, all of 2019, and if the game is supposedly going to be coming out later in 2020, then they would still have like a good half of the year of 2020 as well, so that's a really good couple of years to have been working on the game. And like I mentioned with how they already have so many of the resources from the original Breath of the Wild, I think that it is very possible that they could in fact have developed the sequel in around 2.5 years. Now in terms of why Breath of the Wild 2 could be coming out after 2020 as well, there are two big reasons that I see online with people discussing about why it could come out after, and I do want to talk about those real fast with you guys as well. So the first reason that I see is a lot of people are talking about how next year is in fact going to be the 35th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series, and I feel like having a big game to commemorate that entire anniversary would be kind of cool. So a lot of people are thinking that maybe they're holding back on Breath of the Wild 2 so that they can release it next year for that anniversary, and I can definitely see that happening, but I also don't know if they would really hold back an entire big game like this just for having it released on their anniversary. I think that maybe next year, like even if they did want to get out Breath of the Wild this year, they could still very well commemorate the anniversary by doing things next year. They could have maybe like the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD from the Wii U get ported and come out for the Switch next year. They could release some older games or something like that, give us a Skyward Sword remake or something. There's a lot of other possibilities, so I don't think that just because it's their anniversary next year that they would hold back on Breath of the Wild, but I can see that being a reason as to why some people might think that. And then the other reason is that some people like to use the phrasing that they said when they revealed a trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, and at the very end they said that the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is now in development. So a lot of people like to say because of how it said now in development, that essentially means that they basically just started working on the game, and that's why it means that it's not going to be coming out in 2020 or it's going to be taking much longer than you think. And while this could very well be the case, like I did say, they did talk about how they already were working on the next big Zelda game in December of 2017, and that was definitely talking about the sequel. Like, I really don't think that they could have been referring to any other Zelda game. The only other Zelda game that came out before Breath of the Wild 2 was the Link's Awakening remake, which doesn't even qualify as like a big new Zelda game, obviously, because it was a remake. So I definitely do think that they were referring to this title, and so 2.5 years from that time, if it was coming out in 2020, I think that that definitely is a good amount of time for having them work on the sequel. And another big thing is that when we did get the reveal for this game, there was actually a decent amount of gameplay or like cutscenes that was shown to us from stuff that's going to happen in the game. Like a lot of times when games do get that thing revealed where it says now in development, we usually don't get anything. Like the biggest example of this was like with Metroid Prime 4 when they basically just showed us the logo and then said now in development. With Breath of the Wild 2, we actually did get like 30 seconds of good gameplay or like footage of what the game is going to be like, and then they said now in development. So I really do think that the game has to be kind of closer, like at least a good amount of it has been done if they were able to show that to us when the game was initially revealed. And honestly, I feel that Nintendo said now in development instead of giving us a year because they didn't want to repeat what they did to us with the original Breath of the Wild, where they basically showed us a lot of gameplay back in 2014 and then said that the original Breath of the Wild was going to be coming out in 2015. And then it got delayed, and then they said it was going to be 2016, and then it got delayed in 2016, and then they said it was going to be 2017, and then it ended up coming out in March of 2017. So I feel like even if they were confident that Breath of the Wild 2 could release in 2020, they didn't want to give us a year, and then if something came up, especially like how right now what's going on with the world, if something came up and did have to delay the game, they didn't really want the game to have like a negative kind of backlash towards it because of just being known as like Breath of the Wild just getting delayed all the time because of what's happened in the past. So I think because of that reason, they just didn't want to risk any of that happening, which is why they didn't give us a concrete year. Now I tweeted about this on my Twitter as well, so let's take a look at my Twitter and see if we got any responses. I asked you guys when you think that Breath of the Wild 2 could be coming out, and if you guys think that it could be coming out in 2020. So here is the tweet. I said, gonna have a video about this on Sunday. I'm actually gonna upload it on Saturday, but I want to include your guys' thoughts. Do you think that Breath of the Wild 2 could come out in 2020, or do you feel that it's coming later? Reply to this tweet with what you think, and you could be in my next video. So Alex here is saying, I believe that Breath of the Wild 2 will release on the 35th anniversary of Zelda next year, possibly have a special edition Switch with it, and the dev phase is likely to be extended due to things going on in the world currently. But yeah, I think that 2021 release on Zelda's anniversary. So yeah, like I said, the anniversary is one of the reasons why a lot of people think that it could be coming out in 2021. But also, like you said, with what's happening right now, it could very well be just extended in terms of development. Maybe the game was in fact going to be coming out this year, but now because of this virus and everything going on, it could have impacted a lot of their development, and maybe now it's just going to be pushed further and coming out later. Triforce is saying, I think it's coming later, something just tells me that. And yeah, maybe the game could have actually been scheduled for this year, and now we just don't know because we don't know what's going to happen with all the stuff that's being developed at the moment. So maybe it was going to be coming out this year, but now it could be coming out later. Let's see here, Mimosaurus Rex is saying holidays 2020. That's what I think could still happen. I think that right now I feel like there hasn't been any big holiday game that they've revealed already that could be coming out for holiday 2020, except for Breath of the Wild 2, which was revealed last year. So that's why I feel like that this game has a chance of coming out in 2020. But of course, there's a first time for everything. Maybe we'll get a Nintendo Direct in June where Nintendo reveals like Super Mario Odyssey 2 or like Mario Kart 9 or something, and then say that that's coming out in 2020. They could very well do that, and then, you know, Breath of the Wild 2 doesn't matter anymore. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Switch is saying next year seems more likely, this year will be Mario, and that could be possible. We did hear about those rumors about like a whole bunch of Mario games supposedly coming for the Switch and like a new Paper Mario. That could be happening. Let's see here, Jolteon Blade is saying, I think that it has a high chance of releasing next year in February or March along with a brand new console, or the other possibility is that they release the game for the Switch in December this year, which would be better plan in general. So yeah, I think next year could also be possible. There's also like people saying that maybe a Switch Pro or something could be coming out next year, and then they decide to reveal Breath of the Wild 2 or like release it alongside with that, so that would be pretty cool. But yeah, that could also happen. But yeah, it seems like most of you guys are saying that it's going to be a 2021 launch. I still think that it's possible for it to be 2020. I do think that more than likely it'll probably be 2021, but if it did somehow come out this year, it wouldn't surprise me is all I'm saying. But I do think that more than likely it's probably going to be a 2021 game. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all your responses. I'm sorry I couldn't read all of them. We get a lot of replies and I don't want to make the video too long. It's already pretty long anyway, so I really didn't want to make this video really long. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all your responses. And remember, if you ever want to be featured in videos like this, just go and follow me on Twitter at @ActualArrow. And so there you go, guys. Those are all the reasons why I think that Breath of the Wild 2 could in fact be coming out this year in 2020 as Nintendo's holiday title, as well as some of the reasons why people think that it might not be coming out and it could be coming out later. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button and also comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this. Do you guys think that Breath of the Wild 2 could in fact be coming out this year in 2020? Do you think it's going to be coming out later? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Zelda content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at @ActualArrow so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.